So there we have it. France win the first game of the Rugby World Cup 2023 at home, of course, 27-13, and the first ever loss for New Zealand in a Rugby World Cup pool match, which is pretty amazing in itself. Now, France, by their own admission, probably weren't at their flowing best, but they were efficient, they got the job done, they'll get better. For New Zealand, a dispiriting loss, and they actually played some really attractive rugby and scored some good tries, but so much of that running, handling rugby was from so deep. They made some good ground, but that would only get them up to halfway, say. Then they make a mistake or give away a penalty, and France would be in a great position to pounce. I've said this before with New Zealand, they can get too excited, they can almost back their skills too much. They've got to get in position before they strike. I think definitely strategy and tactics is New Zealand's biggest work on. The skill's there, but they're kind of killing themselves as well. I'm not taking it away from France, but certainly New Zealand fans must have been really frustrated watching that game, just seeing where they were playing that rugby, and the discipline breakdown was pretty awful from New Zealand as well. A couple of other overviews here. The kicking from France was pretty phenomenal. I mean, Dupont's box kicks go miles. Ramos was booming it from hand and at goal. I'm really glad he's my actually fantasy captain. Good stuff from Ramos there. But let's get into the game itself. In the first half, the first 20 minutes, we saw some of that amazing play from Ramos. Just a brilliant fullback, clearance kicks, aerial catches, dead-eye goal kicking. I mean, he is one of the best. I mean, at times, Beauden Barrett did hit some nice big spirals back, but no, sometimes it looked like the All Blacks were going to play for territory, and then they went back to type and played from deep. Definitely a clear tactical ploy from the All Blacks to keep the ball in hand a lot, not kick the ball out, stress the French defence. And in that first half, France were definitely running on empty at times. The All Blacks scored very early. I think Dante missing in the midfield didn't help. Moefana doesn't read the play right, and I think it's Ioane who goes streaking through. Then they score off the cross kick. So, no, really bad start for France defensively. New Zealand just buzzing there straight away. Now, I made a note it was about 50 minutes of pure ball movement from New Zealand, which looked great. But I also made a note that they've got to be careful not to overplay. Even in these early stages, I could see as they were going backwards, they were still trying to throw that ball around. The French would press up, get a turnover, and then just one kick and they were right back down in New Zealand territory. And that theme just kept on going, really. France haven't been given any holes in this first half. I thought the New Zealand defence was pretty good, actually, so not many line breaks. I think there was one clever line-out move from France, and that was about it. And New Zealand were looking dangerous. Scott Barrett, very dangerous, the most dangerous forward, as he has all year for the New Zealanders. Just, the player of the year for them by miles, I would say. But early signs of creaking in the scrum. The scrum wasn't decimated at all by France, but they were definitely on the back foot, you would say. Young prop de Groot, a couple of early tactical penalties, was creaking a bit in the second half before they took him off. Ramos, nailing the easy points from those scrums, although I think he missed one from the angle. Now, with 10 minutes to go, it actually looks like New Zealand do change their tactics on the hoof, and I think it's really positive for them. Beauden Barrett putting some clever kicks in, Ardi Severe actually putting some good kicks in as well. But again, the quick reversal, and France are booming it straight back down, and you get a bit of an exchange from Ramos and Beauden Barrett with some big spiral bombs. And France are hanging on a bit, so at a half-time 9-8, you'd say All Blacks playing all the rugby, France haven't strung anything together, and they'll be definitely delighted to go in with the lead. And at the beginning of the half, both sides actually go at it ball in hand. France start quite well, but again it's Talia scoring almost straight away. Another clever kick from Surveyor again, and Ioane with a big long pass which the crowd thought was forward for sure, although it was probably about lateral. Talia scores, so 9-13. Again, brilliant play from the New Zealanders right at the beginning of the half. But New Zealand do make a hash of both restarts in that second half, giving France some really good try-scoring opportunities, which for the majority of the time they don't take. VIVE, who was a last-minute substitution in there for their captain, Kane, it didn't help at all. He took his eyes off the ball for a nasty spill in his 22. That wasn't good. But Grieco Ioane was having a really good game, a really good rush-up tackle here in the second half, probably stops a certain try for the French out wide. But New Zealand start this theme now in the second half of giving France really good positions. They're pressuring De Groot in the scrum, like I say. They try and bring Taui Fifanua into that tight head lock roll to try and really break De Groot. And pretty smart from New Zealand, they whip him out of there before damage is done, actually. On 52 minutes, actually a massive moment, it looks like. A perfect crossfield kick seems to put Pinot clear on a run-in, but Mwanga, amazing cover, dislodges the ball in the tackle. A certain try-saving play there, really impressive. But then the series of silly penalties starts for New Zealand, and their discipline, once again, it is just not good enough. Some silly stuff. It was a needless push from Papali'i. He gave away a couple of bad ones, and France actually decided this time to go for a line-out, not take the points, and what a decision. The first touch of running quality is Jalabert, so quick as well, like Mwanga, so quick. He reverses back blind. Sevilla can't quite get there. Then just a nice simple straight line from Olivon is the dummy, and Pinot is clear this time. And Ramos slots from out wide, and Mwanga missed a couple of conversions actually. So France actually go ahead, and then the stupidity continues unfortunately for New Zealand. Jordan doesn't get off the ground and just clatters into Ramos in the air. It's an easy yellow, not a red, but an easy yellow. A bit of a killer blow, and all that momentum's out of New Zealand now. They played some fantastic rugby, but also some terrible decisions, and they look to be throwing it away. And now France are getting really confident. They haven't been flowing, but you can see in the second half of the second half, they're really starting to go for it. And they're basically camping in that New Zealand half, which really helps. And their set piece was very strong. The French line out was looking really secure as well, winning them lots and lots of good ball. And yeah, on 20 minutes to go, I just said I really don't like these New Zealand tactics. They're chasing the game far too early. 20 minutes to go, it's not lost. They're playing lovely rugby. They make lots of ground, but they're still not up to halfway. It's such a low percentage play because just one mistake and France are straight back on the pressure. Ramos knocks another penalty over, 19-13, and it is the theme now. Nice rugby from New Zealand. France penalty. New Zealand start again or concede points. A really long-range penalty from Ramos booms it over, 22-13. It looks like New Zealand know the game is up. And when you're deep in your own half, it just takes one event. This time a nasty bounce from a box kick from Luku, to be fair. But Jaminet is there to gobble up the try. I think it was Jaminet. 27-13. And yeah, that's the win for France. It wasn't a classic game, I don't think. France will be delighted with the win. Some definite touches of quality from France, but the kicking was brilliant, the set piece was brilliant, and New Zealand played from deep, gave away penalties and some good turnovers from France, and France said, fine, we will punish you, and they did. Let me know if you think I had a fair take on that game. I'd love to know all your comments. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because there's plenty more of this to come. This was a pretty deep dive into this first game because it is the first game. I might do more summary styles as the games come thick and fast. Pop the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.